by the youth center. There's a black male sitting on the swings. So he keeps pulling a gun out of his pants and pointing it at people.
Radio, shots fired, male down, black male, maybe 20, black revolver, black handgun by him. Send EMS this way.
Let's welcome back to MidPoint former Assistant District Attorney in Bronx County, now at Hochheiser and Hochheiser in Manhattan, Daniel Hochheiser. Dan, let's go ahead. Before we get to the Cleveland case here, just one thing I want to bring back from the Eric Garner case. From anything that you have seen and read here, do you see any reason for a potential civil rights violation finding in this case? Because the Justice Department will be looking at it.
No, because they won't be able to establish the necessary element of intent on the part of Officer Daniel Pantaleo to kill or injure Eric Garner. So no, there won't be a civil rights indictment federally. I'm not sure what they're going to investigate based upon the same evidence that the grand jury had. So no, I don't think that's going to bear any fruit. I think it's going to be another disappointment for the Garner family.
Let's go back now and turn to the Cleveland clip that we just saw here at the top of the segment here. 12-year-old boy. Apparently, they're saying that the cop involved here who shot the young boy was deemed unfit for duty at one time. But from what we see from that videotape itself, do we see enough to leave beyond any shadow of a doubt that this officer acted irrationally or did something illegal?
No, you have to hear the officer's statement. You have to have him testify or be interviewed to know what was going through his mind, which caused him to shoot this 12-year-old boy. What I know of the facts, which is not that much, I've seen the video, and I understand that this little boy had a toy gun, which perhaps had the orange tip of it taken off the gun, so it looked maybe like a real gun, and that's a real problem, and that is an issue really of parental supervision, and it's a tragedy and horrible, but you know, police officers are doing a very dangerous job, and when they encounter people who look like they have what appears to be a weapon, they have really a split second to make a decision about whether to use deadly force or not.
And what about those people who say that police officers are charged with protecting the public and serving the public, and in a situation like that, they need to take that extra second. They need to stop. They need to consider it and do everything they can to ensure that they do not shoot anybody.
Well, I think that's just not practical, and I have never been a police officer, but I've known many. And my understanding is that when you're in those kinds of situations where you're encountering a suspect and there's dark lighting and somebody appears to have a weapon, you really don't have a lot of time like we're doing now, Ed, to analyze the situation, think through all your options and try to make the best choice. You have to make a split-second decision, which is hopefully based on good training and experience. Perhaps this officer in this situation did the wrong thing and acted too quickly, but I don't know enough about the facts. I haven't heard from this officer, so I'm going to reserve judgment on that.
All right, I got about a minute 30 left here. Wanted to ask you about one more legal case, if you will. The appeals court in Austin, Texas, actually I should say in New Orleans yesterday, stayed the execution of the Texas man, a case that has gained national attention. They were going to put him in death. Put him to death. Apparently, he represented himself at trial, wore a cowboy costume with a purple bandana, trying to call more than 200 witnesses, including John F. Kennedy and Jesus. What is your take on the appeals court basically setting this aside and setting aside the execution?
First of all, Ed, I wish I could call Jesus in one of my trials. That would be very helpful. But on a serious note, I think, you know, I don't really see how reasonable people can take the position that we should be executing insane, schizophrenic, delusional, crazy people who don't understand reality. I don't think that that's what America is about, to punish sick people and kill them. I just think that that's wrong. I think it's a violation of the 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment clause of the Constitution, and I hope that the Supreme Court, which I believe heard an argument on this yesterday, does the right thing and and takes this off the table.
Well, we only got about 20 seconds left. I know you're in New York City. Is the city calm today?
The city is calm today. You wouldn't even know that anything happened in Manhattan, at least downtown and Midtown, where I've been today. Last night I was going past Grand Central, and there was a huge militarized police presence, and I understand there were people laying down in Grand Central doing a die-in. So there was, and they had a situation by the Rockefeller Center where they're going to put up the Christmas tree, where they had huge traffic problems, and it was a bit of a mess, but things haven't quieted down. Unfortunately, everybody was peaceful.
But peaceful process and peaceful protest is good. Daniel Hochheiser, thanks so much for joining us. We'll look forward to talking to you again, and MidPoint will continue.